looks like it.
Okay. Welcome to the November 5th meeting of the Library Board of Trustees. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, there's a monitor up there. There's that thing on.
Yeah, that's a little bigger than ours.
I've never seen it on, so.
We begin with the reading of a review of the minutes of September 24th, please.
Pat, do you have an extra?
Motion to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Can anyone share an agenda with Carol?
Oh,
Oh, I have another one.
Oh, okay. We have another one, Carol.
Carol. I always have multiple copies.
Thank you. Thanks, Drusilla. Okay. Director's report, please.
So going down these in order, programs and events. We had 70, I believe it was 71 at the event last night, the Records and Burpee show. So it was an excellent turnout. Lita and I are booking well into 2020 at this point. We've already booked a couple of summer reading things because we know what the theme is, so we might as well go ahead and start lining them up. I need one more concert to be done with Pearl Jam, so we're getting very annoyed because we can't get a desk calendar that runs the academic year and includes 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and we're moving towards that point. But so we've got lots of good programs lined up. Basically, have talked to Bemis about doing some things. Blackstone Valley will be doing some programs next year. We've got a good mix of performers coming for Pearl Jam. So.
That's great. Thank you for the agenda and the anniversary. I mean, the meeting notes.
Yeah, so the 10th anniversary committee met for the second time, and the 10th anniversary of the building, the celebration will be on Saturday, July 11th of next year. So we're also starting to nail down what we're doing for that, which July will be here before we know it. And the other item on events that will be happening is we were asked to host, I was asked yesterday if Dudley would host a legislative breakfast for our legislators, for the state and sort of regional legislators, which will be sometime in January or February. We have to consult with the senator's schedule. But I said we would be happy to, so watch for the
We haven't
date.
done it since we opened.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's, will almost be 10 years, so
Yeah.
it's a good time. Yeah.
So the chair of the legislative committee that I sit on happened to sit next to me yesterday, so she was like, "Well, you're here." So we will be doing that. As I said, watch for the date for that
Okay,
once
great.
we get the schedule nailed down. Financial update: we are in good shape on the budget. We are in very good shape on the budget, actually. I'm going to start looking for some of the ways that we need to spend some of the state aid, because we haven't touched that yet, and we have a chunk of that needs to go. So I would like to identify office chairs to replace the ones that, as I was telling Richard, we sit in them and they abruptly sink 3 inches. Someone's going to get whiplash from those chairs. So we don't need to replace all of them, but about 5 of them do need to be replaced. So I'm going to look at that in the next month or so. But we are in good shape as far as the budget's concerned.
When we purchase something like that, and we're purchasing a number, do we check with the town to see if there's anybody else that's looking for similar
Yes,
equipment?
I do.
So we can
Yeah.
bundle it somehow?
Yes, I do check. I also try to make sure that it's a vendor that honors our, as a library in the state of Massachusetts, we have a purchasing consortium. And so
Okay.
I try to see if we can get a product from somebody that honors that. Which, depending on what it is, we can't always, but I do look.
Great.
Thank you.
And as for the facility report, The HVAC is fixed, the security cameras are fixed, the electrical wires are fixed. I called the fax machine people and said, okay, we fixed the fax, the wiring piece, but now we need the fax machine itself. The connection had blown out. And they said, oh, okay. And I sort of thought they would send someone to fix it, and they mailed me a part. So I personally fixed the fax machine.
Great.
I'm very proud of myself for figuring out how the heck to do that.
Like it was working today.
It was, yes, it's been working for a couple of days now. We got the part last week. And I looked at it and went, okay.
You keep the wildlife away from it.
And the digital sign, people called today to say that we were on the list after a project in Rhode Island. The project in Rhode Island turned out to be much more complicated than they thought it would be, but they called to say that we should have our sign up and running this week.
Great.
So, hopefully, because then I got a call saying, do you know where the part is? And I said, yes, where it has been for a couple of weeks sitting, right here. So we should hopefully see them in the next day or two.
That'll be good. All right.
I know we were talking earlier, the monitors behind the front desk, one of them, the one on the far right as you're entering the building, is no longer in place. I know it hadn't been working, but is that totally beyond?
Yeah, that one is shot. Those are the monitors that were put in when the building opened,
Mhm.
and they are defunct.
Mhm.
The one that we keep tuned to the Weather Channel, I'm sort of surprised that it's still holding on. The
Mhm.
other one is definitely defunct. So that is on my radar to look at replacing. And we'd like to, the staff and I would like to have them that could also show like a slideshow of upcoming events and so
Mhm.
on. So we don't just, we did at least discover that the one, we didn't realize it got anything except the Weather Channel, and it turns out that you can get like HGTV and the Food Network. We were experimenting a month or so ago to see, what, because nobody had ever done anything else, and we just wondered what the options were, and it turns out that you can get all kinds of things. CNN is an option, so
Mhm.
we're going to keep it on the Weather Channel, but now we know.
Yeah, that's safe.
We also really liked the fact that you can get PBS Kids, so we could all watch Sesame Street.
Yeah, there you go.
Be a lot more interest in the weather in the coming weeks, I suspect, so.
Now we're up and running with the RFID.
Yep, that is working. It works slightly differently than the other one because
Mhm.
it's a software change, but yep, we had a couple little ones using it today, so.
Great. And when I was in earlier, I was asking Drusilla about any comments on our millstone.
Yes, and we have had several people come in and ask what it is, and they think it's great. I've only had one gentleman who came in and said, "What is that?" and sort of pointed. And I explained, and he went, "Huh," and then walked off and read the newspapers. So that's the only, I guess you could interpret that as a negative comment. I'm not really sure. But, we also posted on Facebook what it was and got a number of comments saying, "Oh, that explains what." So.
Here's the sundial feature
Yeah.
in the middle.
That was an addition.
Okay, it
And-
looked original, but then again, being a millstone, it probably
do.
couldn't have been there.
No, that was,
Is
that was an
that-
addition when it moved from one side of the Crawford House to the other side of the Crawford House, and it is since broken. It's partially
Yeah,
broken,
yeah,
and
just-
so it's like probably may take it off. I don't see.
Think it beyond repair,
It's missing.
It's missing
It's
piece,
missing
yeah.
a chunk.
Good
Or-
chunk,
Yeah.
beyond replacement? Is
I'm
that
sure
something
we-
we would look to,
I'm
instead
sure
of
we
just
could.
leaving a void, I
Yeah.
assume the option would be to
Right.
just have a hole in
I
it.
thought we could put
A
a flower
planter,
pot in it
yeah.
or something too. Yeah. I don't know. We can.
Is there a plaque, or will there be a plaque?
There will be.
There will be.
That's part of the plans for the 10th anniversary celebration is to make that
Mhm.
part of the. But right now there's a note so that when someone comes in, the staff have their cheat sheet. It tells them what the history
I
is.
walked in right afterwards, but Lena hit me with, "Give me something to say." She's
What
like,
is it?
they
Yeah.
keep asking. I said, I can come up with something.
And we had today, I thought it was kind of funny, we had a little one, it was kind of raining off and on, but when they left story time, we had two little ones running around it in circles with their hands on it, 'cause it's just about the right size for them to do that. And I said, okay, that's good. They're already adjusting to it being
Yeah,
there.
good.
Oh, we could make it a seasonal thing, we decorate it for Christmas and
Sure. String lights around it, you know, yeah.
Good idea. Okay. The action plan.
Yes, so does everyone have a copy of the action plan? I had sent it out before our meeting that wasn't.
Yeah. Roughly, so.
So as a reminder, this is the 2020 year of our multi-year strategic plan. This is what concrete things that we will do to reach the goals that are in the strategic plan. And several of these things are pieces that lay the foundation to complete items. So it may not cross an item off the strategic plan, but it sort of lays the groundwork so that we can get there, since it is a multi-year process. But this is required if we want to be eligible for grant opportunities from the state. And I don't know what the grant opportunities will be for next year. They haven't announced those yet, but to be safe, we should have it in, and it needs to be in by December 1st.
Motion to approve and send her in.
seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, now we have a funding request from the Hugh and Harriet Crawford Endowment Fund for upcoming programs.
Ben, do you want to?
What do I want to?
Do you want to take that one?
Sure. Our endowment fund up with Greater Worcester Community Foundation, established by Hugh and Harriet Crawford. Well, this one wasn't actually. Which one is this? The Hugh and Harriet
Endowment
was.
fund.
This one is
Yeah.
established by them.
Yep.
Yeah, this one is the.
For the
we have-
Pearl Crawford Memorial Library.
Exactly. We have two funds up there. This one was established by the Crawfords at the building of the library, and every year we can request funds from it. And last year we did programming out of this. Do you have a request amount that you want to go for?
The board last year approved $10,000 for programming, and I'd like to ask the same. Lita and I talked about it, and we're having increasing difficulty finding programmers that are charging less than $300 or $400 for a program.
Sure.
So we can use the funding.
And this fund, and when it was established, was for the wants of the library. The needs have to come out of the budget, and that's how Mr. Crawford wrote it. So the needs for the library are budgetary, and this is a want, like programming. The library would survive if we didn't have
If
a
we
kids'
didn't have it,
program.
yeah.
But it obviously makes the library that much better that we have all these great programs like last night's. And so Mr. Crawford always is very appreciative to hear what we do with it, and he does pay attention to our social media to
Yeah. And this
see
is
what we're
also
doing.
funding that would cover having the mill drawings, for example, reframed, that he had donated and asked us to have framed. So this is also where that would come from.
Exactly. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve requesting $10,000 from the Hugh and Harriet Crawford Endowment Fund from Greater Worcester Community Foundation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
So moved. And request approval to pursue bids for landscape architect to design plans for the town library property adjacent to the side parking lot.
Yes, so as you all know, when the library's built, there's a lot sitting next to it that is the library's, that was intended to be used eventually for something for the library. I would like to be able to ask the town, since it has to go through a bidding process, to ask the town to put out to bid for a landscape architect to help us figure out what to do and what needs to be done to make that happen. Because I can look at it and go, yep, it's some grass and it would be nice to have X, Y, and Z, but I don't know what the property would need to make that possible.
Okay, may we have a...
So the process is you have to go to the town manager to
Yeah,
get
I
approval?
would, my understanding is that I have to ask the town. The town puts projects out to bid all the time, and I would have to ask, say that the board had approved this happening, And could we officially, as a town, put this, because it would go through the town.
I suspect that
process.
because it's going through the town, there's wording that has to be specific and
And there,
legally.
Yeah.
there are
That's right.
always, and I don't
applicable.
know what the
Okay.
guidelines in Massachusetts are, but I know in Connecticut, there's how many days it has to be
Exactly.
open and
Right.
where the bids go and
Mhm.
how they're handled and all of that, so.
May I have a
So moved.
That.
What you just
All right,
said.
I would like to move that we request from the town permission to go out and solicit bids for a landscape architect to give us something conceptually in regards to what can be done with that property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think that would be a real nice enhancement when that's in place,
Yeah.
with the
I will-
millstone there. It's kind of filling in some voids.
Yep.
I'll talk to the folks at the town hall and figure out what we need to do to get that process started.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And I'd like to say an official thank you to the United Way volunteers who helped to pretty up the library back
Moved
in
a lot
October.
of mulch.
And also to the Friends of the Library for their book sale. Do you have any reports on that? And how-
The last Friends meeting was the Monday after the book sale, so they did not have total numbers,
Mhm.
and the guesstimate was that they'd made about $2,000.
Mhm.
Oh, good.
Which is a decent chunk. That's actually less than they normally do
Right,
for their
mhm.
fall book sale. But they did move some of the things that had kind of been sitting there for a while, so that was good. They
My
moved
my guess is they have a lot of stock for their Friends Corner, so I hope people come
Yeah.
in and
And-
have a browse.
And
Yeah.
right now, there's a dedicated section of children's books in the Friends Corner, the ongoing book sale. There's also a collection of classics that was donated to the library that I went through all and determined that we already had extremely good copies of. So those are there. We've had several people buying them because they're lovely books.
They're
Yeah.
brand new.
And-
Yeah.
I mean, some are
Yes,
still in
exactly.
their wrappings. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a great Christmas gift.
That's what I was gonna say.
But we've
yeah.
had a couple of people come in and purchase several sets of those. We had one gentleman who came in, he was actually looking for directions. He was from out of town and kind of wandered the library for a bit and pulled up on his phone. He has a list of classics that he wants to read, that he has always meant to read, and we had several of them. So he bought some of them
Oh,
while he
great.
was there, and he was
That's
all
good.
excited that we had them. So.
Are you always accepting books all year long?
Yeah.
That's good to know, because some
Um,
people have asked me.
Right.
They said
Yeah,
that they
if
knew you
it's-
you already had your
If it's a very
sale.
large donation, like we get people who are like, oh, I have 20 boxes of books.
no,
We
just
ask
like
that
a
those
box.
wait until a little closer to a book sale. But if it's, a bag of books or something, yes, we're always willing to take those.
Right, yeah. They have a spring and summer and a fall book sale, so.
Yeah. So the next one should be sometime in April.
Also, I understand there's a lot of jewelry coming in for the Baubles and Bling sale.
Are you ready for this today? One person yesterday afternoon brought in 3 shoe boxes and a tote bag full of jewelry for the
Baubles and
my
Bling
office.
sale.
My office is turning into a jewelry store. We're sort of taking over. Yes, so the Friends are still accepting donations for the Baubles and Bling sale of costume jewelry and also jewelry boxes, and we have some beautiful pieces have come in, including one necklace that I am very sure is real amber, not costume, but the woman was sure that she wanted us to have it, so I don't know what else is lurking in there.
This is a one-day affair?
It is a one-day affair. Everything will be priced either $1, $3, or $5 for everything. Necklaces, we've got pins, we have earrings, we have shoe clips, which I haven't seen in years.
Sure.
We have clip-on earrings as well as pierced earrings. There's an amazing variety of stuff has come in. And like I said, my office is kind of getting... I said, oh, you can store the donations in my office because that's a little more secure, and I didn't really realize how many donations we were going to get. But if you're cleaning out your jewelry box or you want to, you've got some pieces that you don't know what to do with, drop them at the library, or if you work in town hall, you can always leave them in my box, which is a couple of people, town hall employees, have already done.
My car's collecting it from different family members. I gotta take the box and bring it to
And
you.
bring it in, great. I'm losing shelves and
Yeah,
keep
I
having to
bet you
condense
are.
things
Yeah.
in my office because the shelves are being taken over. But it's really interesting to see this stuff. The one thing that came in the tote bag is I've never seen anything quite like it. It's a lovely little box, and you open it up, and it's a necklace, and it has like a pendant, and then it has different like plaques that fit into that,
Oh,
that have
interesting.
different enameled patterns on them,
Nice.
with different, designs and flowers and so
Mhm.
on. And it was that, like I said, I'd never seen anything quite like it.
Wow,
It was,
that's
clearly
interesting.
somebody has it and they don't wear it, so this way
Right.
someone else can enjoy it.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
It'll be a good place to do your Christmas shopping, as well as at the book sale.
So that's the Friends of the Library Baubles and Bling Sale on December 7th from 10 to 2.
10 to 2, yep.
Remember correctly?
I
Thank
wonder,
you.
is that enough time, just one day and 4 hours?
They
of one
are
day?
they are doing it. This is their sort of trial run. They got the idea from a library in Connecticut with a director who happens to be a friend of mine, and who has been lovely. I have to say, I would officially like to thank the Berlin Peck Memorial Library in Connecticut, because every time I say, "Hey, the Friends have a question about how you do this," and I shoot Helen off a text message, she answers within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
This
that's
is-
great.
But Berlin Peck started doing this a couple of years ago, sort of on a whim, I gather. And they also now do, as well as jewelry and jewelry boxes, they also do handbags at their sale. And last year netted $6,000 or $7,000 from their sales, which run one day. So the Friends are going to try it and see how it goes. And I hope people come and buy a lot of jewelry, because I want it all out of my office.
It could be a very busy 4-hour period.
Yeah, I think so.
That's kind of what we're
I wonder if they
hoping.
consider having it a second week if it's really successful.
But the one advantage to this is that the way Helen suggests they set it up, and I believe they're planning to, is everything will be in bags and on tables by price. So there'll be a $1 table, a $3 table,
well, that's
$5,
good.
and then they're color coded. So when you bring them up to whatever Friends are working, they don't have to worry about adding anything up, or what is that cost, or what does that cost. It's all by, so the math is
And I
fairly
understand
easy.
there were a few things for men, too.
We had one gentleman bring in quite a number of tie bars and tie pins, so we do have some of those as well. And there's a watch that I would say is probably a gentleman's watch that is in one of the boxes, so.
Good. Good time to Christmas shop.
Yes.
Sounds like a Black Friday thing. Charging the doors at the same time.
Good luck at 10
That's-
o'clock on
that's what
7th
we're
of
hoping.
December.
I think you'll be calling for volunteers that day.
I think the Friends will be, yes.
Yeah.
Their meeting is in, not next week, not next Monday, but the Monday after, and I think they will be finalizing their plans for what they're doing and what volunteers they need.
All right, so now we're on to the evaluation of our library director. And I will pass this along to you. So what we did is I've gotten evaluations from 5 of our 6 trustees, well, including my own, but one of our trustees has been traveling and was unable to participate. So this is a compilation of 5 responses. So we can go through them, and if anyone has any questions, please comment. But as far as the knowledge of job, thoroughly competent; communication, thoroughly competent; teamwork, competent; attitude, cooperation, right on the line, outstanding and thoroughly competent; accuracy, neatness, thoroughly competent; initiative, problem solving, thoroughly competent; staff scheduling and management, competent; budget and budget management, right on the line of thoroughly competent and competent; programming, thoroughly competent; work with friends, trustees, town, collection management; PR, publicized library events, resources; represent library at CW Mars, MBLC, MLA, et cetera; and manage IT infrastructure and building is one that I added. That's all thoroughly competent. So the next is to please list any significant accomplishments the employee achieved during the review period, which you believe significantly exceeded expectations or requirements of the position. Please include initiatives the employee took to improve the quality of services provided by the department. Managed to step into the position midterm and assess the needs of our library. Determine ways, working through CW Mars, to significantly cut the cost of our IT support from the cost charged by the town vendor. managed quality of staffing, services, and programming during the search for a youth services librarian, and created a 5-year strategic plan with input from trustees and staff that was quickly approved by the MBLC, followed by the action plan, which is required by MBLC for grant eligibility. Anyone have any further comments on that? Okay. Please list those areas of the employee's performance which you believe need improvement, either significant or minor. Recommendations: lead by example, keep the front line engaged, encouraged, and inspired, and be receptive to hearing and discussing ideas presented by others. Further comments? Please provide a plan for the personal and professional development of the employee during the next review period. Work toward genuine openness and a willingness to listen and value the input of others. Implement the long-range and annual plans. Create a vision for our outdoor space. Continue working with the YS librarian on school and community outreach. And continue to reach out beyond Connecticut for programs for diverse groups of patrons of all ages. And your overall evaluation was thoroughly competent. And the comments were, Drusilla joined capable staff as leader and has done well to keep the ship, library, on a steady course less than a year into her tenure. Her achievements as director have earned the respect of town officials. She has done well to assimilate the culture of our library and community. This understanding exhibits itself in the strategic and action plans that will continue to keep our staff and library current and the services provided. And we'll include with this the library director job description as requested, as well as the long-range plan and the YF 2020 action plan. Anyone want to make any comments?
Drusilla has, I'd like to stay with for a minute on the issue in terms of the technology, and obviously we depend very much on you because for most of us, I'm speaking for myself, I should say, that's kind of a mystery in large part, close to alchemy in my understanding of it anyway. And you've been very creative and found some things that I don't think we were aware of in terms of some of the upgrades and updates that had not been done. I think our assumption had been that those were in place, and you're finding that they weren't was something of a surprise. So I have to say that I think we're much better off now than we were when you started back in February with regards to both hardware and software, and I thank you very much for that. And that, of course, in light of some of those naturally occurring events, thunderstorms and such, keeping all of that together has been even more of a challenge, I suspect, than it had been in years past.
Right,
So
and those are
kudos
things
for
you,
that.
right, those are things you don't plan on.
No.
So they kind of shift your focus from wherever you were to suddenly crisis management. So, we understand that certainly, and, we appreciate what you have done. Harrison, Ben?
Should anything more on that one be put in that second bullet point? Or does that cover it well enough? I mean, we should get it in writing,
As far as
the IT information.
The IT? Yeah, we can
I
expand
mean,
on
I
that.
just,
certainly.
that's pretty much what this first, second bullet point states, but I don't know if, again, I fall into Rich's domain when it comes to understanding all this stuff, and I appreciate it, and I just wonder if more should be put in that bullet point.
Yeah, I can do that there, or we can add it to the supervisor's comments. I think maybe
Perfect.
that's a more relevant place to
Okay.
do it.
I think you worded it pretty well, Pat, in terms of, the unexpected, being able to step up and figure a way through something that was totally, out of the blue, literally, out of the blue or the gray skies in this case.
Very black
Yeah.
sky.
So it's,
Yeah, really.
just to keep the doors open and the building running in some of those situations was probably beyond the competency probably of all 5 of our trustees together
Right,
at the same
exactly.
time.
Well, that's where, I will say that this is a compilation of everyone's comments, but I had given you an outstanding for initiative and problem solving, because that's what I see occurs. I think you have an ability to stand back and assess an issue and then come up with a creative way to resolve it. And I think that that's, a real talent, real skill, yeah, which we appreciate.
Definitely.
Okay. Unless anyone has, do you have any questions, Drusilla? No. What I would like to do, and it's something that no one really says, and I'm assuming that they are still planning to give achievement bonuses, I would like to recommend that Drusilla be put forth for an achievement bonus based on
Definitely.
the results of her evaluation.
Yes.
I will need a
We
So
go
moved.
through the personnel board or right to the town administrator with that?
We would include it right in the letter that's attached here.
To the town administrator?
I'm going to copy the town administrator as well. I guess we send these to the personnel board?
Yes.
I know as a result of the last town meeting, his duties and responsibilities have changed, as
Right.
have those with the personnel board, so
Mhm.
I'm a little unsure as to where all
Yeah,
that's
the
been
evaluations did come from the personnel board, so I will send them, but I will copy the town
Okay.
administrator.
And we need a motion for that?
I think we should.
Yes.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Yes, I know, I'm glad you brought that up, Pat, because, and put it in writing, because we've missed the boat once or
Uh-huh.
twice on this, and, yeah, excellent.
Okay, I will need folks' signatures once I have this completed.
Mhm.
And we're supposed to
Soon.
I know, good luck with that one, huh? And so I'm going to ask if everyone can make it to the library. I know it's due on Thursday, I believe it is.
Yes. the
But I
7th.
think we can probably pull another day. I'm not sure when Joyce
This
is going to be
Thursday.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No.
let's say if people can come into the library by Friday, what I will do, and just, sign this last, I'll send everyone a copy of this, and I will create an electronic file that will include all of the documents that I mentioned, the job description, the action plan, and the 5-year plan. So everything will be together in one PDF file for them. And actually, I think I will send that all to you, so you'll have all that information together. And once I have the signature, I will scan that page and add it into that PDF. So we will go from there. Is anyone aware when Joyce is going to be back? Because I would like her. Joyce?
I don't, no, I don't.
All right. Okay, so board member comments or observations? Anything?
I just comment on communication. Obviously, we've struggled a bit lately with regards to a quorum due to illness and travel schedules that people have had, and I certainly congratulate them on their ability to travel here and there and everywhere, and hopefully enjoy them. But I think it's important that we know before we come in for a meeting whether we're going to have a meeting or not.
Mhm.
And I would encourage everyone to respond, because I know requests go out asking if they're going to be able to attend, and please, if they can be done on a timely basis, I think we'd all be much better served
Mhm.
as a result.
Great. Thank you, Richard.
That actually brings something up for me. I've realized that sometimes I'm not getting them on time. Like today at 1:30, I just received an email from on talking about tonight's meeting on Halloween, and I just received it today. So I don't know if that's an issue with me or just the internet in general.
Well, even if we put a stamp on it, it would have gotten to you sooner than that.
If we had the digital sign working, we could put it on that, and you could see it when you drove by.
Does everyone have my phone number? Because if an email gets sent out, you could just confirm that I get it if you text me or something.
Sure.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah, because we haven't heard from you. We'll assume you
Yeah.
haven't gotten it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
Yeah.
that. I had written it down for the last meeting on a wrong day, and then I never saw the emails about the correct day. So I'm so sorry about that.
What I will do, I no longer, for some reason, when I was having email issues, I no longer have our scheduled meetings, so I will ask Joyce to bring a copy of our meeting schedule for the rest of the year, so everyone will have that down. Barring any changes or bad weather coming up in the winter months.
Would it be possible to post those on the Dudley website as well?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Actually, they're probably posted on the board downstairs, too, because we usually do give a schedule for the year at the beginning of the
Right,
fiscal
right.
year.
We might have updated that somewhat. I mean, you mean posting here in the building?
Mhm.
It might have been, would have been updated, because now I think we're looking at December 10th, and we've,
Yeah, if
Had
we
some
make the
changes
change,
there.
I'll make sure that the town clerk knows. We can give her a
Okay.
revised schedule.
so it would be posted in the building then if all else fails.
Yeah, there's a board downstairs that has all of our like upcoming events and so on, and also has notices of upcoming meetings.
Right.
Or even, is it on the website calendar? Trustee meeting?
It's not, because we normally use that for in-house things, but I can add it. That's
Well,
easy enough.
it's a public library, the public is entitled to know when the trustees meet, and
Yeah, it's on the
if
town
they
calendar.
chose to attend, they certainly wouldn't be adverse to letting them
Open
know
meeting.
when.
Hmm?
And we will keep our December 10th meeting
Okay.
date, is our December meeting. so-
Hopefully
mean you don't
Stephanie will
wanna-
be well and Joyce will be.
You don't want to meet on Christmas Eve, is that what you're
No,
telling me?
probably not. Maybe if there's spiked eggnog, but, you know.
Well, December 10th will give everyone a chance to get their baubles and meals. or
That's
whatever
it.
they're trying to
Right,
get, so
And
Late.
anything,
Yeah.
anything that has not sold, I will be bringing in hawking on camera. You'll all be having a meeting, and I'll be over here going, you know, this lovely
No, there's a
thing.
potential show for cable, right?
That might work.
All right. Does anyone have any other issues they'd like to bring up? Nothing else? No? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It always gets.